Well, here's the first fish of the morning. Now, that's a good crappie. 10.5-inch crappie. Boom. As you notice behind me, so what is happening, people? Hey, this morning's kind of strange. We've had a lot of water. The lake, we at Kerr Lake, the lake has came up about 4 feet. And you can see how foggy it is actually behind me. And I had a creek I was going to go to about 7 miles up the lake, but there's a lot of debris floating on the lake. I didn't want to take a chance of running that far, especially in the dense fog and, you know, possibly hitting another boat. So I ducked in this cove and I just been looking around. I located some structure. There's a few small crappie in the structure, but nothing big. So what I'm seeing right now, since this water's came up and muddied up a lot, I'm spotting these crappie scattered. And they're just following these small schools around. I just caught that fish. There was 2 or 3 crappie just following a big school of shad. And I've been playing around with some colors this morning. And you know, I'm stuck. I'm stuck on that gray on the top. Boom. And I got that white and kind of white and gray on the bottom. And this water looks muddy, but it's not that muddy. Anyway, hey, let's go catch another fish. There he is. You know, hey, that's another decent sized crappie. Get him off. You know, pretty crappie. Pretty crappie. Now I'll tell you what's been going on. These crappie are scattered all out in this cove and no rhyme or reason, and they're just following these shad around. I've been watching them on the live scope actually run up through the shad separate, and the crappie are just scattered, and they'll get in these schools of shad and they'll just sit right up under them or in them. So when I'm scanning with my live scope, sometimes I don't see them till I'm right on top of them. Because if the crappie his nose is pointed towards your live scope, you know, it don't put out a big signature. Once he turns sideways, you can see the signature. And I've vertical jigged to some of these fish, and it is no lie. They are literally coming up and just barely mouthing the jig. And I'm telling you, so soft, you don't even know he's on there, and you pick up a rod, you feel a little resistance, but they're just not eating it. So I elected to start pitching out. You know, you look at what nature tells you, what the crappie want. I see them chasing, so I started to just caught that first one, just picked this rod up, pitched the lure out past them, swim the lure. You want to swim the lure over top of the crappie and to see if you can get a reaction bite. So that's kind of what I've switched to see if that's a little more productive. So, hey, let's go catch another fish. So I've moved back in this cove. I'm in about 14 feet of water now. Most fish are suspended between 12 and 8 feet. Most of the shad are about 6 feet. The bank line is full of shad right now. Water temperature is 53. Past the fish was floating along real slow. So the water temperature's come up about 12 feet. I see that crappie about 10. So I don't necessarily have to see him on the live scope. I can throw in that direction, and I know if I use a slow presentation or just a slow wind coming back. I think I have an 1/8 ounce lure, 1/8 ounce head on. No, I have a 1/16 on. Oh, this is a little better right here, y'all. Now there again, I'm just easing along. Good old fat fish right there. Boom. It's a good crappie right there, y'all. Look at that old fat belly. There again, I'm just easing along, spotting those fish out in amongst all of those. So that's a good fish right there. That's a 1.5 pound crappie. Now, these fish, I fished back in here 2 weeks ago. These fish weren't here. There's some fish that are some larger size moving back in the back of these coves. So if you're following this channel, I'm at Kerr Lake, and they're moving on back to the back of the coves. And you know, I'm going to point out one thing. I don't know if I can turn this thing, but you see this bank line to my right. Let me walk this way. This thing's tricky. So if you was coming in the cove in just a few more weeks, these crappie gonna be on the bank. So you see this bank line? See how steep the slope is coming into the cove? Excellent place for crappie to spawn. There's not a lot of brush there, but the deeper side of any cove, if you're coming down here fishing, will be better than the flat side, because crappie can go up there shallow. This lake fluctuates up and down. Their fry always have cover, and if something spooks them, boom, they right back in deep water. So just keep that in your mind in a couple of weeks when you're coming out fishing. Hey, let's go catch another one of them big slabs. So let me give you an update. So I have went up one of the creeks. The water was really muddy up there. I don't mind fishing muddy water. Went up one of the creeks, found a lot of fish, a lot of crappie on stumps. Some good sized crappie sitting on stumps up there, but they would not bite. They just, I guess that fresh muddy water had them really lethargic. They just would not bite. I caught one fish, a small crappie. So I elected to come back down the lake, and this water is not as, you know, dark muddy. And I just caught a good fish, 1.5 pound fish, just a few minutes ago. And I'm just scanning out in open water. These fish are really scattered right now. I mean, just no rhyme to the reason. And so I'm gonna turn the boat around, put the nose in the wind. So deep creek channel comes around here, and I'm gonna just scan, move along, and pitch out to these fish. So hey, let's go catch a fish. There he is. He's just sitting right out in the open water. No rhyme to the reason. Pretty good fish. Lift him on up in here. Now that fish is, there is some brush under the water here. That fish is just staged out in the middle of nowhere. I switched over back to that little gray and white jig. I caught one on the white. You know, that is a good crappie right there. Good quality fish. Another fish. Another fish right up underneath us. Oh. Well, I finally talked that one into biting. Here again, I'm just, these fish are suspended out over the creek channel. Boom. It's a good crappie right there, y'all. I had to tease that right over top of his head. He just bounced it right over top of his head. Once you see a crappie turn, if you ever see him turn, just start lifting that lure up and he'll follow it right up. Boom, another good quality crappie. Boom. So real quickly, let's just talk about, you know, kind of gear time, what we was using today. This is a 10-foot B&M rod with 6-pound test line. I like 6. 6 is strong. It'll hold a good sized bass if you catch one. And I'm using a double drop rig. You can see that that is like a chartreuse white pink head, and that is the pink head with white body. They're tied roughly 16 inches apart. And we caught some fish on that. I primarily used that in the very muddy water, and I caught a few fish in the dingy water. The second method, you know, second rod, of course this is a 13-foot ACC crappie stick. It's a little bit longer, and you know, double rig again, and mainly I use the double rig just for the extra weight. You know, on the top there is a gray, and on the bottom was that black and white, and they seem to respond to that probably better. I caught some on a chartreuse green as well. They responded to that okay, but those two colors in this dingier water, it's not clear, it's got a good dinge to it. They responded to them even better. And most of the fish I caught today were caught vertical jigging, dropping the lure right down on them. I caught some early this morning actually casting to them. They was up chasing shad back in the coves, and you could cast a lure by them. If you could get it close, they would come over there and strike it. But that's the two things. This one here, 13-foot rod, also 6-pound test line, you know, just a Shimano 1000 reel. They're good and smooth. But that is the main two combinations that I've been using today. Good crappie right there. Boom. Caught him on that gray one there. Boom. Now let me tell you, this ain't easy. The wind is puffing the boat all over the place. It's hard to stay right on top of the fish. You got to get the lure right on top of the fish. They're not really chasing. Alright, y'all, let's see if we can taste this old crappie right here to bite. Well, you know, small crappie, nothing to speak of. Now, I am fishing right in the mouth of a long cove. There are fish staged up in the mouth of that cove. You know, hey, that's, you know, that's a good 10 1/4 inch crappie. Yeah, nice old crappie. Okay guys, we're getting ready to end this video. All in all, it was a pretty good day. Fishing was a little bit slow. The crappie in the mouths of the coves are stacked up, a lot of small fish there. I caught the bigger fish out on the main portion of the lake along the deeper creek channel. Is where I caught the biggest crappie that I caught today. I did catch a few in the back of the coves where the water was clearer. I went up one of the creeks. That fresh muddy water had the fish just turned off. I saw a lot of nice sized crappie back in those creeks, 6 to 8 feet of water on stumps, but they just would not bite. So anyway, I hope that helps you if you coming down to fish in the next couple of days. And we're going to get these fish out and take a few pictures of them and release most of these. Hey guys, I hope you've seen something on the video that you enjoyed. I hope you've seen something on the video that you learned. Remember, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. That helps me. And please comment, enjoy seeing your comments on the channel. Click that like button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Wildlife Adventures. And you remember, it's a wild life, and I'll see you on the water.